Are You Nuts? A Tom and Scott Mystery, Book 7. Author, Mark Richard Zubro. St. Martin's Press, New York. Eric Aust, narrator. Chapter 3. After lunch, I returned to my classroom preparations. I was wearing an old pair of cut-off jeans, calf-length white socks, athletic shoes, and a t-shirt with the Grover Cleveland logo, a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Wherever cloth touched body, I was sweating. I could feel moisture bead on my forehead and form pools under my armpits. I'd have to remember to bring a fan from home tomorrow to try to beat back the oppressive heat. The central office area of Grover Cleveland High School was air-conditioned, but not the rest of the school. They claimed it was too expensive to fix the old system or buy a new one. But it sure looks odd when you take care of the administration and no one else. For about 20 minutes, I worked in blessed silence, then a noise at the door drew my attention. A lanky blond male stood in the doorway. He wore tennis shoes with white ankle-length socks, gauzy white running shorts, and a black t-shirt, cut at the midriff to reveal a flat stomach. The remaining portion of the t-shirt had the name of a heavy metal rock group in lurid red letters. Students aren't allowed in the building yet, I said. He came far enough into the room so that the windows backlit his torso. The light showed through the flimsy material of his shorts and outlined his legs up to his crotch. I'm not a student. My name is Trevor Thompson. I'm a second-year teacher here in the math department. Are you Tom Mason? I said I was. With so many teachers in the school, it wasn't odd I didn't recognize them, especially a first or second-year teacher. You seldom meet other faculty members unless you had a planning period or ate lunch with them. Normally, you knew your fellow department members, and that was it. Trevor had short brush-cut hair and didn't look as if he needed to shave, but once or twice a week, he glanced back at the door, then edged toward me. His voice was soft and low. I wanted to talk to you. I'm worried about my job. I don't have tenure, and I'm gay. I'm trying to find out what's going to happen. I left the computer stuff and plopped myself on the ledge next to the open window. He sat at a student desk. He rested his left ankle on his right knee. The angle at which he sat afforded me a view all the way up his shorts to his skimpy jockstrap. He noticed my glare, slumped lower in the chair, and opened his legs wider, providing a more extensive panorama of his lower torso. I felt as if I was in the presence of a youthful Mrs. Robinson wannabe. For a further display of his masculine charms, he entwined his fingers and rested them behind his head. This emphasized his flat stomach and narrow hips. I asked, "What can I do for you?" I was working in my room today. I stopped in the lounge and I heard some of the faculty talking about you. I saw you on television this summer. You're really brave. I never expected to be on any talk show or be anybody's spokesperson. I'm not sure I ever want to be again. I'm afraid my renown is due more to circumstances than it is bravery or wanting to fight the world. He leaned forward and rested his elbows on his knees. But you live with Scott Carpenter? That is so cool. Every gay guy I know is jealous. Everybody wants to know what he's like. Is that why you're here? No, not really. But knowing the lover of Scott Carpenter is way cool. I gazed at him silently. He shifted in his chair and gave me the spread leg crotch shot again. I kept my eyes on his as the silence lengthened. Beyond a comfortable few minutes, I waited for him to speak. Finally, he cleared his throat, then said, I'm most concerned about my job. I'm worried that if they find out I'm gay, they won't give me tenure. I heard something was going to happen at tonight's PTA meeting. The PTA doesn't grant tenure. They can cause trouble. People make all kinds of promises and threats. You can be that calm and detached? Sometimes. Aren't you worried? A little. Of course, with a rich lover, you don't have to worry at all. Which is none of your business. I'm sorry. I'm just scared. I bought a house and a new car. Without a job, I can't make those payments. I don't have a lover to fall back on, and yeah, I was curious to meet you. You're the most famous gay person in the country right now, you and your lover. I'd prefer less notoriety and simply teaching. But isn't it fun being on all the talk shows? Look, I'm only a school teacher living with a man I love. If I'm lucky, the world will be a little better for that. You're never going to be just a guy. The silence began to build again. Finally, Trevor said, "They made me be an assistant coach on the football team." "So? Can they do that? I teach math. I ran track in high school and college. I was maybe better than average, but that doesn't qualify me to coach football. I really don't want to do that." "They didn't assign you any extracurricular duties your first year?" "They made me be a judge for the all-scholastic team. They changed it this year." "They can change it if they want. When they hired you, did they say anything about coaching?" "Yeah, they said that if I wanted the job, I'd have to agree to coach various after-school activities." I said yes. I didn't think I had a choice. I didn't know they meant athletics, too. I said, "Lots of school districts do this nowadays. It's getting harder and harder to find teachers to fill extracurricular positions. Now, before they hire you, they're sure to ask if you're willing to work outside your classroom. If you had said no, you probably wouldn't have gotten the job." I needed a paycheck. I had to say yes. "Yeah, they can make you coach." "But a gay guy being a coach? Come on. Come on what? You don't think there are gay coaches in sports?" "Well, sure. So what's the problem?" "They don't care that I'm in a locker room with a bunch of naked teenagers." "Are you going to be seducing them?" "Teenagers aren't my thing." "Good. How can I not look?" "My suggestion is to avoid staring. They'll notice. Homophobia tends to run most strongly in exclusively male teenage groups." "Do you think I should try and be completely in the closet, at least until I get tenure?" "I can't make that kind of decision for you. How much do you think hiding your sexuality is worth to your psyche? What price are you willing to pay?" "You're right. I don't have to worry about making the rent like you do. You have my sympathy. My suggestion to you is, as a union official, be a good teacher. Don't molest any kids, and don't give anyone a reason to be suspicious of you." What do you mean, don't do anything suspicious?" I gave him the standard pitch any teacher would get, straight or gay, tenured or not. "Don't touch them for any reason. Don't be in a room alone with any student, male or female. If that happens, at the very least, make sure the classroom door is open." That sounds terrible. I'm surprised no one told you last year. Teachers have to be careful today. Probably kindergarten and first grade teachers can touch the kids without suspicion, but not after that. It's too easy for some loony parent or child to make a wild accusation. It didn't used to be like that, but that's the way teaching is today. "Thanks for the advice. I appreciate it." He smiled shyly and asked, "Could I buy you a drink sometime, up in Chicago?" He had a great smile. I wondered if his shyness was an act, or if this was another mode of seduction. I didn't know if he had planned the outfit and his presence here, or if it was really due to the accident of hearing people talking in the lounge. Maybe I'm too suspicious. I said, "I'm sure Scott and I could try to fit it into our schedule, although after he gets back, I expect his and my life will be hectic for quite a while." His smile remained, but I thought I caught a glimmer of worry and shyness in his eyes. He said, "Maybe just you and I could go?" Back when I was dating, I never knew what to say to someone who I suspected was coming on to me, but who I didn't want to date. Certainly, Trevor might simply be a friendly guy, making an innocent offer as he grabbed the front of his shorts and readjusted himself, I thought. Then again, maybe not. But I didn't want to give unclear messages either. As gently as I could, I said, "If you're asking for a date, I'm sorry. I love Scott, and that is not possible. If you're being friendly, I appreciate it, and if the opportunity ever came up for the three of us to go, that would be fine." He gave me a thin smile. "I understand." But he didn't look satisfied. If there was a nicer way to say no, I wasn't aware of it. I didn't need more distractions at this moment. I could have used less. With a cheery wave and passing closer to me than necessary, He left the room. Celebrity seduction? My first groupie, or a lonely gay guy who wanted to be friends? Scott talks about the people who hang around the baseball players. Male fans desperate for a touch of the magic. Female fans often eager for more. I think I was flattered more than annoyed, but I have been faithful to Scott since the day we met, as he has been to me. So, Trevor wasn't even a remote possibility. I hunted for any random custodian I discovered. Most of them were at the new high school. Benjamin Harrison High was supposed to be ready to open in a few days. The population of River's Edge had more than doubled in the past few years, as had that of most of the southwestern suburbs of Chicago. It had taken them 3 tries, but they'd finally passed a bond referendum 2 years ago in our district that had expanded 3 existing schools, built 2 new grade schools, a junior high and a high school. We'd also had a large increase in the number of teachers as well, as a big turnover in personnel in general. In the past couple of years, because of an early retirement incentive program by the state and so many new kids, we had nearly 100 new teachers out of a rapidly expanding staff of nearly 300. The only person I found resembling a custodian was a scrawny teenager, scrubbing floors on his hands and knees. Besides his youthful appearance, I could tell he was a teenager and not an adult by the numerous snarls he managed to work into his brief answers to my questions. There's no one like a teenager to communicate outrage at the world with tone of voice and body language. I asked about people working in my room, and he said, I don't know nothing about nobody working nowhere. Do you know where the other custodians are? I don't know where nobody else is. I ain't seen nobody. I stopped in to see Jerome Blenkinsop, the other candidate for union president. He was packing boxes in his old classroom. He was going to be teaching in the new high school. After we exchanged greetings, I pointed to the boxes. I thought the janitors were supposed to do that. These are my personal things. They moved all the textbooks and cabinets. Jerome was in his middle 50s. He wore designer jeans cut off at the knees and a plain white t-shirt that covered a slight paunch. His gray hair was 3/4 inch long on top and short on the sides. He was around 5 foot 6 inches, round-faced with darkish circles around his eyes. He dumped a few more things in a box and said, I'm concerned about the union election. I am too. Good. I think it's time for a new start and a new direction. I want to really stick it to the administration. For too long, we've been afraid of confrontation. Where has Kurt been afraid of confrontation? Every teachers' union has a radical faction. This was the group that always demanded war instead of negotiations. You could never possibly do everything that they wanted, because once you got them something, they wanted another thing. They lived for fighting and chaos. They were usually the most useless and most bothersome group to deal with. Jerome said, the most glaring example is last time when we gave up on that strike much too soon. Before we took the strike vote, you stood up at the meeting, and after the meeting, demanded we avoid striking. I remember you running up and down the halls talking to people, trying to spread anxiety and fear. Most of the time you didn't know the facts, but that didn't stop you from instigating an uproar. I keep hearing rumors that Kurt has sold out to the administration. Who told you that? I heard it around. If you can't give me specific names of who told you, then the accusation doesn't exist. I'd hesitate to accuse you of making it up. Actually, I wouldn't, but I was trying to be diplomatic while keeping my temper in check. Doesn't he have secret meetings with the administration? What don't you think you are being told? I think we have to be more strong and united. What does that mean? And you told Beatrix Zuri to quit the union. We're going to randomly skip from topic to topic without discussing any of them rationally? What kind of loyalty is it to tell a member to just quit? We're going to be taking loyalty oaths. Weren't you the one running around saying first-year teachers shouldn't join the union? I never did understand what put that harebrained ideal into your head. You can't talk that way to a member. You mean to you or to Beatrix? I want this to be like a real union where members can file grievances against each other. That would give us strength. I know some unions do this. It could make for bitterness and chaos. I don't want to fight with you. Yes, you do. You have no right to be mean to Beatrix. You know what she's like. She has a right to file a grievance. And I told her that. That's not what she said, Jerome stated. I offered to help her file out the paperwork. That's not enough. I'm willing to hold her hand through the process. I'm not willing to treat what should be an intelligent adult as if they were a moron. You can't be planning to endorse Seth. He and those elementary teachers will try and take over and run everything. They've been dragging down our salaries for years. This was another problem with the school districts in Illinois. In most of the Chicago suburbs, the school districts usually had either all grade schools or only high schools. Teachers in districts with only elementary schools were the lowest paid. The unit districts, such as mine, the next highest, the solely high school districts paid the most. It was an odd system. Part of the reason for the disparity suspected rest in the sexist notion that more elementary teachers were women and so didn't need the money, since what they earned was supposedly a second income. An outdated notion, but one that no one had been able to dynamite out of existence. Many high school teachers in unit districts blamed the lower grade teachers for keeping their salaries down. This did not make harmonious relationships between the staffs any easier. I said, speaking of confrontation, have you gone to Seth to at least talk to him? Why? Strength and unity? Maybe you have common ground on which to work together. I haven't had the time, which I took to mean that he didn't want to. I asked, are you going to the PTA meeting tonight? I think teachers, especially the union president, should be involved in all aspects of a community. Not only that, I've lived in River's Edge for years. It's a responsible thing to do. I'm going. Kurt rarely attended anything but union meetings. This sure sounded like a slam on my friend. Meaning Kurt was doing a poor job. You just don't understand. What is it I don't understand? You're Kurt's friend. I can't expect you to comprehend what I'm saying. I sure wish you made sense. I think you're just searching for an excuse to make trouble. He went back to packing and ignored me, so I left. By the time I got to the library, it was 4 o'clock. Meg was on the phone in her tiny office. She saw me and motioned me inside. Into the phone, she said, yes, Agnes, you have to be there. It's important. You know what these people are like. Look, what happened to you? She listened for several moments, then said, great, thanks. I'll see you there. She hung up. Marshalling the troops? Yes. How is Agnes? Agnes Davis had retired 5 years ago. She used to teach first grade in the district. This year, she spent 4 weeks in South America looking for exotic birds. I remember she liked to take vacations to out-of-the-way and off-the-wall locations. Agnes and Meg had been close friends for years before she retired. Agnes was famous for the parties she threw on the evening of every New Year's Day. Meg said, I've lived in this area a long time. I've called movers and shakers I've known in every group I can think of. People are concerned more than a few teachers are going to be there. Maybe I should have helped make the calls. I don't think so. It looks better if you are on the sidelines. The issue should be who is the best leader for the PTA, not some right-wing political agenda. Belutha and her bunch will try and inflict their beliefs on all of us. However, there will be a crowd on the side of the Angels there tonight. It will be dynamite. I hope Belutha tries something. I have been able to stand that woman since she proposed basing the library acquisitions budget on a strict fundamentalist principles. What does that mean? I'm not sure. Buying Bibles for every kid in the school, I assume. Who knows? She's a raving loony, so it could mean anything. She's been offered nut about filth in the library since she moved into the district in the early 80s. She hasn't gotten anything banned yet. I remembered Meg telling me about some of the battles. You still think I shouldn't go to the meeting? I asked. Definitely not. It's going to be chaotic enough. If somebody has notified reporters, it could become a total circus. You want to be in the middle of that? No, especially not after this summer. You leave it in my capable hands. I did trust Meg. I wasn't expecting her to fight my battles, but having her on my side was worth several tape divisions. Thanks, I said. Call me after the meeting. I'll be up late tonight. Definitely. Something else I wanted to check with you. Do you know a guy named Trevor Thompson? Second-year teacher. Skinny. 24. Gay. Teaches math. Popular with kids. Does not have a lover. Has the aura of a party person. Thinks he's a stud. Other than that, no. He's worried about the meeting tonight. He thinks it might set off a gay witch hunt and keep him from getting tenure. He was thinking about trying to hide in the closet to save his job. I described my encounter with him. Meg said, perhaps he just wants to be friends. Possible. He didn't act studly so much. I'd put his actions in the category of blatantly offering himself. I don't need some 20-something guy chasing me. The price of fame. I'm not ready for my close-up yet. He really thinks hiding in the closet is going to save his job? I don't know. Some people get very frightened very quickly. I don't think I care much for Trevor. I know I don't want to be involved with him. If they go after the gay teachers, you may have no choice but to make common cause with them. I hope it doesn't come to that. Gay Mysteries audiobooks. I think it is easy to hate a label, but a face humanizes the word. So this effort is twofold. To offer comfort to those like myself that your world didn't end because you don't fit into the view of acceptable society on both sides. And in hopes of helping those with family that are LGBTQ, that it doesn't mean we are aliens from the child they once knew. Reassure them so they can maybe be supportive at the same time, being true to their values.